Let me tell you something, Mean Gene. I take a look at all these other YouTubers and all their envious glances that they have at me who spent so long at the top of the mountain. And I know that at WrestleMania 30 that myself, my 5-inch pythons, and all of my mad dogomaniacs are gonna run wild on you. Dig it! Oh, my throat is gonna feel terrible for the rest of the day. Why am I making a video about wrestling? Lots of people are surprised when they find out that I'm a pretty big wrestling fan. Now, and I'll freely admit that I don't keep up with it as much as I once did, but I still dip in every now and again. I have really fond memories of being 3 years old, sitting right next to my older brother on Saturday afternoons and watching wrestling, and it was just, yeah, 3 years old. I know, I started early, that and meth. But we were sitting there and we were seeing these larger than life characters up on the small 20-inch screen that I probably had at that point. You know, Hulk Hogan, the Ultimate Warrior, Macho Man Randy Savage, Mr. Perfect, Sergeant Slaughter, Jake the Snake Roberts, just all of these crazy characters doing these super over-the-top things and telling a fantastic story along the way. And with WrestleMania 30 being live on pay-per-view on April the 6th, I thought it was a great chance and opportunity to talk about why I think I love wrestling so much. First off, if you want to get super philosophical about this, which I know you do, I've linked down in the description below an article that Roland Barthes wrote like 50 years ago about why wrestling is such an intriguing art form. To distill his message down, it's that wrestling is the epitome of storytelling in that there is a good guy, there is a bad guy, and there's something that they're fighting for. In this case, physically fighting for, whether that is just to win the match or to win that coveted championship belt. Now, there's two main criticisms that people throw at me when they find out that I am a wrestling fan. The first being, why do you like to watch that? It's super fake, which, yes, I'll readily admit that the outcomes of the contests are predetermined. However, it's not like we use that same criticism to talk about books, films, or TV, and that's why I kind of find it a lame type of criticism to have in the first place. Just because something is made up or predetermined does not make it not exciting to watch and try and figure out exactly who is going to win this current match. It's kind of this amalgamation of boxing and gymnastics thrown together, because when you see a great match, just like with any art form, there's great stuff and there's terrible stuff. But when you see a great match, the second criticism is that it promotes violence, which I have a harder time rebutting against because it's kind of true. I mean, if you're any gender, it doesn't matter. When you're growing up, you're gonna roughhouse with other people. And at some point, as hard as parents may try, somebody's gonna get suplexed. It's just what's gonna happen. And if you're me, you try to choke slam people, which I admit, it is not a great thing and I shouldn't have done it. But to be fair, it was the last juice box and Jeffrey with a G, what am I gonna do, ask you? Come on. And I mean, really, to go back to that whole debate about it being real or fake, I don't really know how you teach yourself how to fall through a table. I'm telling you, I could legitimately talk about this for hours. I won't, but if we ever meet one another in real life, then we are sitting down and we're doing it. Wrestling talk, that is. I believe that wrestling is the distillation of great storytelling. You have a protagonist, you have an antagonist, and you have a goal that they're both trying to reach at the same time. It is all there. This is what wrestling is all about. And I think it should be studied more in academic circles instead of being relegated to the sideshow or the circus tent. But you tell me what you think. Did you know that YouTube has a comment section now? It's down below and you can tell me why you think wrestling is stupid, why you think wrestling may be great, your thoughts and feelings about this topic in hand. My name is Kyle. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all again next Thursday. Before we get to the credits, there's also something that I wanted to say about Geriatric 1927. This is a longtime YouTuber. When I became to the site in 2005, 2006, one of the first people I stumbled across was Geriatric 1927, which was this older British gentleman who would sit in his chair and just tell stories about his life. And really, he was one of the first people I saw that was like, oh my gosh, like my mind was just blown and thrown open, because this is what this new media was all about. This was not, you know, the younger guy, the good-looking guy or good-looking girl who could get all these views. It was just a guy sitting in a chair telling stories of his life. And that is what YouTube is all about for me. It is these interesting people telling interesting stories or interesting points of view. And while sometimes you can look at YouTube and feel like it's kind of gone away from that and homogenized itself a little bit, I still go back to those early years, to those early pioneers, and one of them was Geriatric 1927, who I really adored. He unfortunately just passed away this last week, and I think that more people should go to him and see him and recognize how much of an impact he made on this website.